Senator Victor Boyhan, you've 6 minutes.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. And firstly, I want to welcome the Minister here, and I think it's very apt and appropriate that the Minister is in the chair, because I know she's huge understanding of this area, and particularly when we talk about habitats, when we talk about biodiversity, when we talk about research, and issues around that. So I think it's very apt that you're here, Minister, and you're very welcome to the chair and presiding over this bill. I'd like to particularly thank Senator VP Martin for his enthusiasm. I think from day one he's been talking about the bee. We certainly have had lovely gifts of honey from him. He's a great ambassador for the native Irish bee, and I want to acknowledge that, and certainly he has engaged and tapped into a lot of people. I've certainly received a lot of emails, and I think politicians know that email is nearly like a barometer of public opinion and public support and public lobbying, and they've certainly done that well, and I want to acknowledge the campaign that you have run in relation to it. I think it's also important that we acknowledge that the following senators, Senator Martin himself, McGrahan, Garvey, Siri Carney, Boylan, O'Donnell, Norris, Higgins, Crockwell, Gavin, Warfield and Wall, all are the co-sponsors of this bill, and that indicates the cross-party dynamic and support for the bill, and I think that's really important, and that's a point that's been made previously by the previous senator, and I think that's very important because it brings that sense of unity and about purpose and about function. So look, I'm absolutely committed to supporting this bill, but I want to say just a few things about it without going into the detail. I fully support the bill. I will be voting on every stage in relation to this bill. But let's not use language like somehow that it might be delayed by civil servants or anybody else. We're the politicians. This is the legislature here. These are the houses of the Oireachtas, the Dáil and the Seanad. So if this bill is going to happen, it has to be driven by the legislators. It has to be driven by the TDs and senators. And I don't really want to hear in 6 months' time some sort of excuse that, sure, it's going to get a second or a third reading, or it's going to be gathering dust, or we've ticked a few boxes, kept a few people happy, and they're off our back. Get the monkey off our back. I want to see real progress. And I put that challenge particularly to Senator Martin, who is a member of the government parties, and you can drive this, and you will have support across the houses. And I will be supporting that. But I want to see that being driven, because I think it's important. And as I say, I want to acknowledge the cross-party support. I just want to touch on a few issues in the 2 minutes that I have left. I think it's important that we don't lose sight of habitats in terms of the bee. I think it's important that we look at diversity, that we help increase the flora, the rich flora, and that's really important for the bee. The bee is a pollinator, and that's really, really important. And we know the role and the significance of pollinators and in creation of habitats where bees will do. I think it's important that we need to have further education. This is not that simple for people to understand, so we need simple, clear language about it. And we also, of course, need to look at the issue of research, and I know Senator Martin talked about the Varroa mite, which is a real issue in relation to bees. So I think there are very significant issues, and I think it's a multifaceted approach. It is about protecting the bee, but it's also, as I say, talking about habitats, biodiversity, education, research, because that's all part of it. And then how can we help in terms of Irish honey and the Irish bee? We put our hands in our pockets and we support the produce. That's really, really important too. So there are many ways in which we can support it. I want to end by saying I want to thank the visitors, the guests in the gallery, and it's great to see so many people. And our gallery isn't always full for very long, and certainly not as full and as many people as are here today. So I want to thank you, because you also, your presence here is very significant, and it endorses the importance of this piece of legislation. So I finish by saying I want to thank all the cross-party senators who signed up to this bill. I particularly want to thank Senator Martin for his continuous and positive engagement to drive this piece of legislation. I wish you every success, and you will have my absolute support at every stage in this bill. Thank you.